The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB-TV.
Right. Get yourselves together. Right. Stand up and live your life. Right. Get yourselves together. Right. Hands up high.
Yay! Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So you have got a ton of shows, so let's go through this a little bit. What happened to Las Vegas today?
Right, what happened to Las Vegas
All
today?
right, I messed this up before. We're going to get it right this time. And what happened to the world today?
Right.
And you also have a 15-minute segment in another show.
Yeah, it's actually a half-hour segment on the radio.
Okay.
And it's at KUNV 95.1, the Rebel Radio HD2. And that's on Mondays from 5:15 to 5:45. But we've been able to stretch it. If the guest before doesn't show up, we've actually started at 5. So I tell everybody start tuning in at 5. We'll go from there, and then we've gone to 6. So the last couple of shows we've done the full hour.
Okay.
So it's a lot of fun.
What do you do on that show? What's the...
That's a review of Vegas entertainment. So it's another version of What Happened in Las Vegas Today. What Happened in Las Vegas Today is a podcast and a YouTube video of Vegas entertainment. So it started off, I love going to live entertainment. I love going to live shows.
Right.
And when we moved back 6 years ago, we're right by the South Point Casino, which is right off the Strip. So I can get to any of the properties within like 15 minutes. So when tickets come up last minute and that, or my friends will call me and say, hey, we got extra tickets. You want to go to a show? Go to it. So for the past 6 years, I've been doing that. My daughter goes, Dad, you know, people do YouTube shows. They have YouTube shows of their kids opening up envelopes and doing cards at school. She goes, you should videotape you going to the shows and put it up on YouTube. And I said, well, that's great. I said, well, when I do that, can I invite people with me also? So one of the things I say at the end of the show is if you're in Vegas or visiting Vegas, message me. We'll find out what show is available. You can come to the show with me and then review it with me on the channel. And the nice thing about that is you finally learn my personality, but then you get somebody else's opinion also of what's going on. Because I'm a fanboy. I love live entertainment.
Can I ask you how old you are?
You can.
Okay. How old are you?
I am 55, but my birthday is August 8th.
August.
So
coming up
today,
soon.
Today?
Coming up,
That's the same day as Harvey Spiegel's.
Wednesday.
Oh.
I can't forget Harvey's birthday.
So I'm a Leo. So
excellent.
So it's all about me.
So at 55, you would be a fanboy, because I would be one too, because we're kind of in that age group where, you know, everything has its golden ages, and we've gone through a lot of good entertainment stuff. Yeah,
and we kind of we talked about that a little bit beforehand. We were like, you know, what do you think of music? What do you think what's going on? And the biggest thing is when you and I grew up, and I'll still hear that from the performers I talk to. The reason they're in performing is that's what their parents did. You know, the music was around our house. We played albums. We played songs. We entertained when the family came over. We got up and did skits. And that entertainment was always around in our era, you know, our generation. We're kind of the tail end of the baby boomers, but the baby boomers were big into going out, having live entertainment. The newer generation, there's a couple things that have happened to them that they don't have anymore. First off, I don't do politics and I don't do religion on my show because it's a little polarizing. However, I'm going to go there a little bit on this. We've taken live theater, live music, and all those programs out of schools. True. So it's not around this generation that's growing up. They're not exposed to it. And I always say you do things because you know them, and you don't do things because you don't know them or don't understand them. If you grew up in a family that did racing and they were out racing cars all the time, you'd be expected to probably go in that family business and maybe work on cars or race cars because that's what you were around your whole life. I was brought up with people who worked on cars, so I kind of knew about cars. My son, we didn't work on cars. Everything's computers now. So he doesn't think about working on cars. However, he does think about working on computers because when we were little, I would take computers apart. I would show him what it was like. 2 years ago, he built his own computer. He wasn't afraid of it. He just did because that's what he knew. Right? And with the youth today, they don't know live music, live entertainment, like, you know, garage bands. I had a garage band. I practiced, the neighbors always knew when the band was over, they could hear the music and
It was
that.
great then,
It
too.
was
Like,
fun.
you'd walk around the neighborhood and be like, okay, these guys are playing over here. I'm going to sit in over here and
Yeah.
just bang a drum
Everybody
a little bit.
played the same song too, "Smoke on the Water."
Yes.
"Smoke on the Water."
Everybody knew the
Is that
covers.
The only
Yeah.
song?
That's it. You're like, let's go hear how they play it. But no, you're right. And that's another thing that's changed too. Now, I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up in Chicago. So neighborhoods are a little different. And the community here in Vegas is a little different too, because first off, it's 110 degrees. So people are not hanging out on their porch. They're not sitting outside. And if you have a garage band, it better be an air-conditioned garage. Otherwise the band is going to pass out. But there isn't that sense of community where you walk around. I mean, we used to laugh. One of my neighbors would come home. They'd drive in, the garage door would open up. They'd pull the car in while the door's still going up. They'd get in and the door would close. And you never saw them. You knew they lived there because you saw the cars coming in and out, but you didn't see them. And then a lot of people who work in the industries here with the gambling and that, their hours are nights, holidays, weekends, because that's when we're a destination town. That's when people come in and do things. So you don't have that sense of community where people can come do that. But I think those things are what changed. And that's why the youth of today doesn't, they're not into music or live entertainment or doing those kinds of things. And then everything is accessible to them on their phone.
Right.
They just grab it on their phone. I don't need to go somewhere to see it. I'll just put it in, watch 5 seconds, go, oh yeah, that was good, and they're done.
An interesting thing too with let's take concerts for example. Heidi and I were talking about this last night. Like, if you wanted to see Led Zeppelin, like, you are like, hold it, Robert Plant, isn't he a god? Like, doesn't he live in a castle? Like, it's like this whole thing about this excitement about seeing him. Now you just press a button, you watch all these videos on YouTube, you can probably go on his Twitter account, whatever it is, and you're communicating with them. And it's just, the rock star thing is kind of dead.
Sure.
In a sense, because it's brought it all down.
Yeah, they're familiar, right? So it goes back to, what do you know, what are you familiar with? You see Ariana Grande, go link donuts at a donut shop, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, she's crazy, she's nuts. But you get that personal connection to where they're not that separate, like, oh my God, they're out there touring. Oh, maybe they'll come through, we'll see them on the tour bus. And you've got to go to them. You don't have to go to them anymore. They're now coming to you. And you see that a lot with, the Kardashians. Keeping Up with the Kardashians. They've got their TV show. They've got their Twitter. They've got, the new youngest billionaire is Kylie Jenner.
I saw that, yeah.
Because she's got this huge, the family has this huge social following, the social media. Then she's done the huge social media. Sure, she's a beautiful model and stuff like that, but that's not why people know her. People know her because she's putting out posts. She's communicating with people, and she has a team of people doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I can see how it works for the younger generation. I mean, there's an appeal for that. But, like, let's say you go to a lot of shows, right? This is kind of what you do for a living. But so now you can go on a website and find whatever band you want, and you could find their whole song list.
Yep, their whole song list.
I mean, number one,
their concert videos.
Yeah,
too.
does that? Like, number one, does that ruin it for you to know that you know the exact playlist, and then you can go to the show that they did the night before and actually watch it?
Yeah.
I mean, does it kill the excitement
for me, it doesn't, and that's unique to me. I always tell everybody, everybody's like, spoiler alert, don't tell me what's going on. For me, I actually like knowing that knowledge because then I know what to look for, and I can look for more things. So if I know what's coming. I'm surprised by that. It's kind of like watching a magician. You want to sit back and you want to enjoy it. But if you know what they're going to do, and then you can look for other things. You go, wow, this guy is so good. It's there. So when I know what the playlist is for me, and I know what song's coming up, I get excited. I get worked up. I'm like, oh, now he's going to go from this, and I love how he's going to transition. And then you can see their thought process. Instead of going, you're surprised by it. You're going, oh, how did they do that? Why did they make that transition? So for me, it adds. But for the younger generation, what I'm seeing, my daughter just went to a concert. She just graduated high school, so just give you a rough age idea. They're 18 years old. They went to see Post Malone, and one of the kids she went with, printed out the lyrics for all the songs and was studying, printed out the song list from the night before, so he knew what songs were coming up, and he enjoyed it. So there was a case where the youth was looking at it and knowing what was happening, and they still enjoyed it. But so I don't think that spoils it, but it does make them more familiar. It doesn't make it to where it's like, you know, a god in a palace or a you know, a king or a queen, you know, that you don't have that access to. You kind of feel like you know them now.
Right.
And it's a little,
Okay.
it's a little more friendly.
Yeah,
Well, and
for
I
sure.
think that's the whole concept of social media today is that people want to get. You have a show because you want people to get to know you. We have a show because we want people to get to know us.
Yeah.
And that's how the world is going, and it makes sense with music too.
Yeah, and one of the things I liked about, you know, your guys' posts, your shows and everything is the whole positivity attitude. All of my posts on social media are positive. All my reviews are positive. Some people say that, well, that kind of skews it. I says, look, everything is skewed. Any review, any reviewer is going to skew it. At least I'm being upfront with you and letting you know this is my bias. So now you can judge it based on that, as opposed to going, what was Steve thinking when he said that? Steve was thinking he's going to find something positive in this,
Right.
and he's going to tell you what the good things were. And then you can decide based on that if that's something that falls in line with what you want to go see. So you're positive, you know, the Rise Above show. I want to support people like that because I really think this is the time where there's been a lot of negativity in our world for the past 7, maybe 8 years, where it's really gotten bad. And I really think this is the turning point right now.
And
I think things are starting to change.
When you said that, I was talking to a client this morning because everybody's been coming up to me at work because there was a couple controversial things that I had gotten involved in that I kind of got bashed on really bad. And these people are not friends of mine. They're acquaintances that I know through other people, and they're coming up, they're going, wow, they really went after you on that. And
Sure.
Are these really your friends? Like, you need to consider who you're talking to, you know, blah, blah. So I said to one of my clients, I've spent like the last week and a half on social media trying to, I guess, get my point across, or just trying to get some understanding. Like, there is other thought processes out there, and that I do have probably a different view, but this is why my view is there. And I'm not disrespecting your view, but I'm also trying to kind of soften the view a little bit.
Sure.
And I decided, I was talking to a girl this morning, and I said, you know, I set up a butterfly effect page that kind of is an offspin of the Rise Above show, and it's basically self-esteem building for young girls, women. And I have a huge following starting on there of young girls from different states that are pregnant, they have little babies, they're young, they reach out to me on Messenger. And I decided, instead of spending my time trying to fix or trying to fight all this negativity, because it makes me feel bad about myself. And I go, why am I making this guy or whatever? And it's always men, I hate to say that, make me feel like I'm stupid or that I don't have an opinion. I said I'm going to concentrate on the more positive things where I can make a difference. I can make a difference with helping where I can help and where they want the help. You know, they write me, they want to know, you know, answers to different things, rather than you can't change the
Yeah,
some of the other
and
stuff
you're
that-
right. I mean, one of the other things of doing the shows, what happened in Las Vegas today is fun, it's enjoyable, it's an escape. But my talk show, What Happened to the World Today, is kind of my therapy. You know, we kind of talk about that negativity to get away from that and get past that. I grew up in the Midwest, and I'm third generation Polish, and I grew up in a family that food was love. So, Auntie Dorothy loves you. Have some more food. Have
Heidi
some
and I
more
are
of this.
Italian. We know about that
right?
plenty.
so that's a generation thing. And when you're around negative people, I was replacing the negative energy, and I didn't realize it. I was replacing that negative energy with food love, and I was eating more and eating more and eating more. And a year ago, I was 380 pounds.
Wow.
So.
Good job.
So, you know, it was terrible. I'm down to 250 now. I've still got, you know, some room to go. But I realized it, which was really weird, driving through a McDonald's drive-thru. I paid for my food at the first window, and when she handed me the bag of food, I actually felt better. I just, the act of, like, here's love. And I was like, wow, that was a huge revelation. But then the second part kicked in. Because when you grow up in the family that food is love, there's also kids starving in the old country. You don't waste anything. You got to clean your whole plate. So I'm like, well, I have it now. I have to eat it. So so mentally, I'm a train wreck. But a lot of fun. But realizing that allowing that negativity to control my life was causing other things to happen to me that were not good for me. That would eventually, you know, hurt my health, shorten my life, and stuff like that. And I said, you know what? I need to make that change. I need to start hanging around with positive people. And that was the big change. I mean, I started, going, if you're going to support me, you can be my friend. If you're not going to support me and bash me, I'm going to give you one warning and say, look, I can't do that anymore. I need to be, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, but, and you can help me to get better. But if you're just going to tear me down, I can't be around you anymore, because I'm taking it on and destroying myself. So I said, it's time to be positive. And all the friends that I have now are positive, and they said, you're in the entertainment business. Don't you know there's negative people in the entertainment business? I says, yes, but the nice thing is I can choose not to be with them. I don't have to be their friend. I don't have to hang around with them. I don't have to listen to what they say. And now that I've started hanging around with more positive people and people that are doing the right things, it helps. So the fact that you're out there giving people a place to go to be around somebody positive that can support them, that's huge. And we need more of that. And I said, that's what I see the society, it's changing. The people's opinions are changing. People are starting to step up and say no more.
Well, when you think you're not making a difference, that's the other thing. Like when I set my thing up off of the Rise Above, I know our show attracts a certain type of listener and clientele too. In my mind, I didn't realize that I could make a difference with all these girls. I was like, this is stupid. Like, they're not going to listen to me. Who cares? That. And like I said, the last 2 weeks on social media, I actually would find myself getting on my phone to go back to the thing to see what these idiots would say to me. And I said, wait a minute, I have to go back the other way to what makes me feel good. And when I'm doing that, even though I thought it made no difference, I felt good doing it. I'm the same as you, though, with the eating stuff. When somebody stresses me out, I like my cookies. So I'm like, I'm eating a cookie. I'm going, why am I eating this cookie? This guy on Facebook just pissed me off. Okay, that's not. But I understand what you're saying. And Joe and I talked about that too, and thought about we need to get back in the direction of what our show was based upon. That this is what we are. This is who we are. And again, if you don't have to like us, but we're genuine and we're generally out there for the public and in a caring way.
Yeah. And the gentleman I do my talk show with, What Happened to the World Today, Scott, has a limo business in Delavan, Wisconsin, which is by Milwaukee. We do it remotely. We do it over the internet, the two of us, but we're put together on the show. And he talks to a lot of the clients that are on the bus and promotes the show. And he says, we're positive news. And everybody's like, oh, we love that. That's great. That's great. So we know that it's what people want. And it's just a matter of time before that pendulum swings and the positive shows start getting the followers and the news. And we're just hoping that, we're on the cutting edge of that, doing the things that we need to do, that we can start finding those people. There's a lot of other things that we're trying to figure out and learn. We're about a 30-minute talk show. You guys are an hour. So,
yeah, and that's
the lengthwise. Everybody's like, oh no, everybody just wants that quick hit, that 5-second clip.
That's a lot of that out there, I think. We notice it a lot. Like, we'll put a lot of content, especially, we always have. Back to the beginning, we've been doing it for 6 years now, and I'll go back over some of the ones from 6 years ago, and I'm like, there's a lot of content there. There's almost like 15 shows off of like one show.
Sure. And
then I'll look on, again, I get to be a little bit addictive myself, I have to admit. I'll go on YouTube and you'll see all these shows pop up that have like 500,000 views. And I'm like, it's 2 minutes long.
Yep.
The person barely says anything, but people go to it, and then they're like, anything over 10 minutes is starting to get into no man's land where they don't necessarily have that type of, ability to listen.
I think it's like an attention deficit thing. I have it a little bit. That if somebody keeps going on and on and on, I actually don't even know what they're saying after 10 minutes. I go, and then if it gets boring to me, I shut it down.
Sure.
So
and you can do that in today's age. Just next, hit the next one.
Yeah.
One of my favorite videos that I saw was a guy introducing his new show. It was a 2-minute video, and pretty much the whole thing was just him introducing himself. There was no content to the show. There was no show, but it had more views than my show. And I was like, but all he did was say, I'm going to do this show, and this is my name, and this is my name, and I'm going to do a show. And he had more views than I did on one of my shows, and I was like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah, I think the same thing with myself. Like, how does a person who's sitting there reviewing a show get more views than the person who's actually doing the show?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, someone will say, well, here's a song, and they'll go, okay, I don't like it, or it's a good beat, and they'll have a million views off that. But the original artist has like 1,000.
Yeah, and we talked about reaction videos. I love reaction videos. You have a video of a person here, and it would be me going, wow, I think his hair is nice. But you don't see Joe. You don't
Yeah.
see him. You just go, oh, I think his hair is nice. I think the shirt, maybe not for him. And I'm like, we're watching a person watch somebody else do something. and it's the same thing with Twitch. Twitch is people playing video games. And I'm going to watch. Now, I could see if there was strategy, like you're trying to learn the strategy of the game and they were explaining it. Like, okay, now we're going to go over here and we attack this person this way because we take the high ground and we do, okay, I'm good. I get that, right? I understand that. But no, it's like, oh, look, he's shooting me. Ah, oh my God, he's shooting me. Ah, look out. And that's all you hear, and people are watching that. And I'm like, go play the game.
I don't get it.
Go play the game. So it goes back to that original thing, you do what you understand. I'm hoping that I'm doing something and putting out content of stuff that I understand, and people get it, that I'm not doing this just because it's just for me. I mean, that's
But I
good.
think with technology too, when you have an idea and you're putting it out there, we also have to meet technology, and we also have to meet what do the people want, and that's what. Like I was telling Joe a while ago, I said, listen, the hour shows, they're great, but we've got to figure out a way to get like a quick 5-10 minute thing on there. Both of us talked about that, because I said, I'm going to tell you, in my experience, people do not want to sit there and watch an hour show. They're going to speed through it, and there's more. And because I look at videos too, not the same kinds that he does. I do like the makeup stuff, and I'm shocked at these girls that go on there and show how to apply blush, and they got like 1 million and and all they're doing is saying, here's some makeup I bought from MAC, this is the color, blah blah blah, and I'm going to show you today how to do. And and here we are.
We're
going
putting
on,
content
on,
in the show, and we're kind of patterning it more after like Regis and Kathy Lee, right? And now it's Ryan Seacrest and Kelly, right? So Ryan, so they have a show, they have a following, So I'm kind of patterning after that. So I still know there's an audience for that, and that's why when is my release time? That's important too. Did I release it during the time when people will do that? Because unfortunately, the way they promote videos, and that was the first thing I had to learn, the way they promote videos is the amount of traction you get in your first 24 hours. So if you're not getting your subscriber base to click on it in the first 24 hours, you don't show up in that sidebar. If you don't show up in that sidebar, other people aren't seeing your content to actually know you exist, and that's how you promote yourself. Then there's keywords and all that other stuff that goes behind the scenes and stuff like that. So it's interesting to see what gets what. And one of my videos that's got a ton of traction, I want to go back and see the show again and review it again, is The World of Wonder. It's at the Rio. And that has the most views. And I'm surprised that video is when I had my original camera. It's when I had my shorter video. It wasn't as good a quality in that. So I'm looking to redo that. And I'm like, but that has the most views. And I'm trying to figure out why. Why is that?
Because it's real. The thing of it is, it's not doctored up and it's not too fake for people.
Yeah, well, all my stuff is
when
that
I do my clients, I video clients that train, and I have to start getting into the hair stuff in the salon, but people like my videos of my clients training.
Yeah.
Like they're like 3-minute little bleeps of one of my clients doing a squat, and people love that stuff. And because it's me, they know I'm behind that phone, and they'll hear my voice once in a while. Okay, one more. Okay, do. Yeah. They love that, and you go, what is it that? Why? We have all these fitness girls all over the place, and you have people like normal people working out for like 3 quick minutes.
Yeah,
so
crazy.
It's finding what.
Yeah. So just to be clear, so your shows. Is it to show people what type of entertainment Las Vegas has? Or is there some other thing that we're working on too, to show people that live entertainment, which is becoming kind of a lost art, are you trying to push that to make people actually see what's good in it? So
both. The first one is to show, the original idea was to, hey, there's all these great shows, these great performers. I want people to get out there and know what those shows are. Because the unique thing about Las Vegas, unlike anywhere else, and you can talk to performers here, is people don't plan what shows they're going to go see before they get here. If you're going to go to Broadway, you've got your Broadway tickets before you get there. If you're going to travel to Chicago, you know what games you're going to go see or what you're going to do. All that stuff is purchased beforehand. Even people going to Disney know what shows they're going to take in at Disney before they get there. People show up in Vegas, they get to the airport, and they go, what do you want to do? And we're like, oh, we can go do a show, we can go eat, and figure it out. So I'm trying to get people outside of Vegas before they go to realize that, hey, this is an option.
Right.
Here's what's available. Take a look at some of these things and buy it. I don't try and give any of the shows away. I don't try and do the, hey, I'm going to show the whole show so you can see it beforehand. I give you the teasers to what I think is important for the show to make your decision so you can go see it. The second part of that, after I got into it, I realized that people aren't exposed to this anymore, and the new generation is not exposed to this anymore. They don't see it. So if I can get out there and promote this and show them that, wow, live entertainment's still alive, live entertainment's still awesome. These are the kinds of things that you know are there. It gets back to if you know about it, you'll go do it. If you don't know about it, you won't go do it.
Right.
We have to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
I'm the world's worst cleaning lady. I'm here in your home having a pretty spectacular Tuesday. But I don't notice the loose rug at the top of your stairs. And that's about to become an issue for me. And if you've got the wrong home insurance coverage, my medical bills could get expensive. So get Allstate.
There are many insurance companies out there, but none can compare with McDonough Family Insurance. We take time to get to know each and every customer's individual needs. We want you to feel like part of the family and pride ourselves in protecting what matters most to you. Our agency offers all types of insurance, including life, auto, home, health, renters, and business owner policies. We strive for excellence each and every day to make sure that whatever situation arises in your life, you can feel safe, secure, and confident. One call to McDonough Family Insurance Agency will make your world brighter. Call us at 702-684-6989. That's 702-684-6989. We're always here with a smile and ready to help you. McDonough Family Insurance Agency, the company that cares.
Oh, welcome to the Rise Above Show. I am Joe Perroni.
I'm Heidi Mancini.
And our special guest today
is Steve Allen. Only one L, Steve Allen. So not the man on the street that you're used to, but we're going to get there. We're going to start doing those too.
So I like your perspective and what you do for your shows.
Thank you.
You're trying to do that. And as I was going through your videos this week, and it's not a personal thing with you, I like your stuff. But one of the things that really kept hitting me over the head as I'm going through all these different shows is that, like, if let's take Raiding the Rock Vault, Rock of Ages, who used to be, but they're not here anymore.
Right.
You get your Elvis shows, let's see, you got Prince, I think, Michael Jackson, the Australian Bee Gees.
Yes.
This is the thing that keeps hitting me. All of these things are like 60 years old. You know, I mean, we're going back 60 years, 50 years. The newest music that we actually have, that we're actually celebrating, is what, from the 80s? So we're looking at over 30 years old. So it kind of is, one part of me says, I love these shows. Yeah. I love the Beatles' Love Show. Unfortunately, that music is from 1962. Right. So I'm thinking, like, can we please have something new? And being that we're not, obviously, where do you think the problem is?
Yeah. So I'm going to answer this question kind of backwards. First, I went to the Jay-Z concert, the Jay-Z 444 tour. And everybody's like, you went to a Jay-Z concert? And I'm like, yes, because since he's had kids, he's way mellowed out. I mean, his is all about love and togetherness, and all of his music is now about cooperation, as opposed to before when it was like, kill everybody and we hate everybody and keep everybody down, and we're all. Now it's really good. It's okay. About getting out, and the concert was really good. But again, you know, and everybody's still freaking out. They're like, again, you went to a Jay-Z concert? I was like, yeah, and I enjoyed it. But that's a unique situation there where it's new music and it's a concert. You know, you go to see Queen, and Adam Lambert, who's young, is doing it, but he's doing the homage to
Freddie Mercury.
Freddie Mercury, yeah. And it's just weird, and all these shows are there. So why do I think those shows are still popular? Two things. The first thing is, where is the disposable income still in this economy? And it's still our generation. The youth, the millennials, the X generation, and that, they're not spending their money. They're still figuring their way out. They're still, you know, they don't know what they want to do. Are they buying houses? Are they putting the money there? Are they still finishing up college, still paying for debt there? They're not coming and they're not spending money on that. And when they do come out here, if you talk to the casinos and stuff like that, and you'll see that resurgence here, they're spending it in restaurants. They're going to see, you know, Hell's Kitchen. You know, they want to see the TV star, the reality star kitchen is where they're going. They're not going to shows, they're going to dinners. And so you look at the people who have the money to spend and do that. That's the older generation, and the older generation is reliving that youth and that younger time when you've got the music from the 70s and the 80s, and Queen is out, and you know, the Raiding the Rock vault. You know, I think it's so cool because when I bring my friends here, I go, look, that's Howard Leese, the guy from Heart. Right. The guy who played in Heart in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is up on stage right there, and afterwards he'll sign your autograph and he'll talk to you. Like, that's really cool. You take younger kids to it. I talked to my daughter about that, and I go, you want to go to see Raiding the Rock vault? She's like, nah, it's okay, Dad. You know, went and saw Alanis Morissette. Great following, huge, sold out. Again, older crowd. Trying to think of who I had a concert that my daughter went to and surprised me. I said, I got tickets this, you want to go see it? And she went and saw it. I think it was Counting Crows when I went and saw them. And she was like, oh, I'll go see them, you know.
Yeah, again, from the 90s.
I was like, okay, well, that's
the newer one.
Yeah.
And they're 20 years old now.
That's a little newer, yeah, and they're 20 years old. So that's why I think the older bands are still making a resurgence. The money is there in the concerts.
Right.
You know, because ultimately, we love doing this, we enjoy doing this, but if you can't pay to continue to do this and survive, you can't continue to do it. Right. So you have to make money. And these stars, they're touring and they're doing this stuff because that's where disposable income is. That's the demographic that's still spending money to go to concerts.
Well, we went to see Shania Twain, my daughter and I, the other night, and it was older. It was my age. I'm older. I'm young. I'm still young. But they were mothers and you know, of my age with their daughters that were my daughter's age, you know, anywhere from 15 to 20-something. And I paid for my daughter to go see Shania Twain. Sure. She wanted to see her, but like you said, she doesn't have the money.
Right. And
Shania even said that. I think she goes, some of these kids that are in here, she goes, you were listening to me with your mother. Yeah. You know, but what she did that was smart, I was telling Joe, she did not do the traditional old school stuff that she did like 20 years ago. She was very progressive with her videos and her background dancers, the entertainment that was going on to appeal to the younger. Yeah. You weren't just sitting there watching Shania Twain do the same gig she did. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's the same
would
thing.
Be fine, I guess. But.
Yeah, like the Backstreet Boys are here in town right now, and I've talked to a couple the other day. She goes, "Yeah, I don't remember them looking like that. They're much older now, but yeah, that's who's here. But it was an older couple that paid for the tickets, went to go see it. You know, Boys to Men. You know, again, that's what's here. That's what's around. That's what people want to see. And it's not just, unfortunately, it's not just rock and roll. It's country also. Right. So if you look at Branson, Missouri, they have a lot of those shows. But those are a lot of the older performers that are there. I mean, you know, Donnie Marie still have a great show, but it's still, you know, and they called it Puppy Love. You know, it's little Donnie being a young, cute kid. Now he's a good-looking older guy, but you know, it's crazy that's what it is. And I think everybody's going to come through here. I just saw the billboards. You know, Lady Gaga is going to do a residency at the Park Theater at MGM Park. So, you know, I'm sure that'll sell out. That might bring some younger kids in. Yeah. You know, they're at that age to start doing that. So we might start seeing that, you know, these residencies that the stars are doing. We'll hopefully start seeing some of these younger artists come in and pick those up. And with Lady Gaga doing this, even though she's not a younger artist, she's still a younger artist, we might start getting to see like the Ariana Grandes and those people do that. But then you got to remember the economics behind it. If they're going out and they're selling out, you know, 60,000 seat theaters, and the theaters here are 4 to 6,000, where are they going to go? You know, yes, it's nice they don't have to travel. Yes, they have a show every night, but you know, 6,000 to 60,000, they got to do 10 shows to make the same amount of money.
Yeah,
so the economics
to me, it's so interesting because I don't know that in the business. I like to listen to music, and you know, like, okay, let's just go back a little bit. So you get like Van Halen, right? They come out. Great guitar player, the whole bit. Eddie was like 18 years old on that first album. Yeah, they sold out 70,000 seat arenas. Now, the only people who can sell out 70,000 seat arenas are 70 years old. Right. And it's like really weird. Like, you can get 60, 70-year-old people listening to Black Sabbath, and their grandchildren are telling them to turn the music down because it's too loud for them.
So I was so excited because I got to go see Green Day's American Idiot at the Smith Center.
Yeah.
So I'm excited because I'm like, this will be great for the whole family, because my kids, we do it on Rock Band on the game. We're playing, Creep and all, so I'm like, good, we'll go. We got lucky. For some reason, our seats got moved. They're sitting in the 18th row center off of the stage. Here's my kids' takeaway from the show. Now, this was 4 or 5 years ago, so that would make my daughter 14. The music was too loud.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything about your daughter, okay?
But
I just, in general,
it's a rock show. Your music is supposed to be. That means I did a bad job as a parent. I didn't expose her to enough music at that volume.
Yeah.
So, as a person who loves music like you do, so how do you move the ball, right? Like, I totally agree with you. It's things have flipped. Right, like it used to be that 20-year-olds will spend anything to go to a concert.
Yeah.
Now, give or take, they may or may not. But the biggest bands out there that are touring are bands like the Eagles, U2,
Sure.
the Who,
They're all
the
coming
Rolling
back.
Stones. They're all the same ones that were in the 70s, except older people are going.
Right.
But let's be honest, there's nothing underneath it that much, or there is, but very few, and these people are going to die off. There won't be these bands. So what do we do now at the ground level? And I'm not saying we need to. I'm just saying I know you love this, so I thought maybe you put some work and thought into this. What kind of structure do you put underneath this to start maybe bringing up live music? Because pretty soon, in 10 years, we're not going to have it.
No, and people aren't going to go see it and go do it because they're not exposed to it. And that's, to be a little risque, I'm trying to expose you. I'm trying to expose me to you. I don't know. I'm trying to expose music. But, if more people do like I'm doing and get it out there so that people can see it and enjoy it and know that it's around, then go, hey, go check that out. And then if they have a good time, maybe they'll tell 2 friends, and then they'll tell 2 friends. So you talked about it. You didn't, what is one person, what is that one difference going to make? But, we talk about it in voting, right? When you go to vote, that one vote does make a difference. That one vote does make, no, that one vote does make a difference. That one person saying the positive thing to you does make a difference. That one person, if you can go out today and just tell one person that something good about them, that you like them, at the store, wherever it is, just one nice thing. Be sincere. Don't, just go, oh, you're nice, but be sincere and come up with something positive. Like, I really like your hair today, or that you look very nice today, but be sincere about it. That will change that person's outlook on the whole day. So I'm doing a grassroots as it is or whatever, but if I can make that one change and change one person's life, then I'm being successful.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that, and I love your positivity message. But also on the Rise Above show, since the very beginning, even when it wasn't called the Rise Above show, we always want to have, we don't want to just talk about the problem. We want to do things to be able to make things better.
Sure.
So here's a thought, and I'll throw it at you. Tell me what you think. Let's just start from the bottom. What do we need to do to put music and art and these types of things back in school? When I was in 1st grade, we always had access to a piano. I mean, heck, I was too afraid to play it, but at least it was there. I saw people play it. Yep. We had instruments, we had violins, we had drums. We were always interested in it. And I don't care what anybody says, right? It's like, I know things move on, and you always sound like the get off my lawn guy, right? When you start talking about the other generation. But let's be honest about it. I mean, we can talk about anything on the show. Like, as human beings, we all like sex, right? From the beginning of time, human beings like sex. They will always will. There are certain things that are primal. And one of the things that's primal about human beings is live music. Yeah. That's what church is for, too. People sing and they dance. This is not something where you just look at somebody and go, I know you're talented, but let's move you out to pasture because we need somebody else. Yeah. We can cultivate this. I don't think if we start from the bottom, like you take a 14-year-old adolescent boy, you give him a Gibson Les Paul or something to the effect, plug that thing in, hit one chord and watch the smile and the hair will come up on the back of his neck. It's natural. I don't care if we're looking at 1965 to 2005 to the year 3000. It's going to happen. We need to get instruments in the hands of these kids. Yeah. What do you think?
No, I agree. And there's a few musicians, and I apologize that I don't remember which one it is, but they have charities where they're raising money and they're donating. I'm pretty sure that it's Vinny from the Bronx Wanderers that has a program where they're donating guitars to schools. They're actually these performers are donating. So I support those kinds of things. I try and make sure that it's publicized, that it's put out there. But whenever I see any of these artists giving back or free lessons or stuff like that, I post it on my social media.
So you are doing that.
I spread that because it's important to get it back in there. And I guess I hope that pendulum is swinging so that people take those priorities and start putting those priorities back into schools. One of the things that we've totally taken away from schools, for not for giving art and entertainment and painting and that money's gone. We need to bring that back. But they've stopped teaching kids how to balance their checkbook. Now, you don't balance your checkbook anymore, but with the prevalence of people stealing people's identities, kids nowadays don't know how to go on and reconcile their account. They look at it and they go, yeah, these charges are here, here's the total, yeah, it must be right. You can catch somebody doing identity theft or someone who's got your credit card by following what your charges were or what gets posted on your account and going, oh yeah, look, I didn't do that. But we're not teaching kids that. We're not teaching them in school. I think we've gotten away from what's important in the education system, and I'm hoping that, what was a news break? I'm mad as hell. I'm not going to take it anymore. I hope more people are starting to do that. I'm hoping that pendulum is swinging. I'm seeing it swing with the people with the positivity, realizing we need to go back to those values.
Right.
We need to go back to putting things out there so that people can survive and function. It's great that we're learning all the things that we're learning in school, and I'm super excited about that. However, you need to learn how to survive. Kids nowadays get a flat tire, don't know how to change the tire in school. That class isn't there. That class was there when I was in school. We had an auto shop.
Right.
Now it's harder to fix a car because of a computer, but my God, at least teach kids how to change a tire so when they're driving through Red Rock, they're not stuck on the side of the road going, I don't know. There's that commercial for insurance where the kids goes, you got a lug wrench? Yeah, I think we got a lug wrench. Kids go, is that a lug wrench? I don't know, right? So it's funny, but that's what's happened in society. We're not exposing our youth to what they need to survive day to day.
Right, it's true.
And unfortunately, we did that. I'll take blame for that, my generation. Not as much as some people, but the participation trophies. Participation trophies drive me nuts. I had trophies growing up, but they were first place trophies.
Right. They
weren't, ninth place trophy. Like, that commercial, ninth place trophy. You got for ninth place. Who are you impressing? The kids in 10th place? I mean, yes, you need to be able to strive.
What would happen if you got a ninth place anything? Let's just say you didn't get the trophy because you don't earn it, but you came in ninth place when you were a kid. What would happen?
Besides your dad going, you're walking home because you're ninth place. That's
right. You feel bad.
Yeah.
But it's appropriate to feel bad when you don't do well.
Right,
then you work harder.
Yeah, you don't beat somebody up and go, oh, you're a loser, you're terrible, you never amount to anything. And say, that's great, but now you need to strive for something more.
Exactly.
And that's what we've done to our youth.
But it waters down the winner.
Oh, yeah, totally waters down the winner.
Because the winner, he comes in first, but now you got all these people after you that get a participation trophy.
Yeah, they got a trophy. It's just as big as yours.
So it minimizes the real...
The effort that you put in, yes. And there are going to be people who do certain things better. That doesn't mean you can't do something better than them in something else. Mm-hmm. I'm not taking that away from anybody. And you have to realize you can't be great at everything. You can be good at a lot of things, but there are certain things that you can excel at, and you need to find out what that is. And thank goodness that people have different skill sets, because otherwise we would all like the same car, we would all want to date the same person, and we'd all eat the same food. So it'd be a very boring life. Because we'd all want the same thing. So people have different strengths and people have different skill sets that we need to utilize and to work with and do those kind of things. So it's really important that we let people excel in what they're good at. One of my favorite books that I read growing up in self-improvement is a book called Gung Ho. It's a short book by Ken Blanchard. but he talks about everyone's job at everything that we do in life is important, because it's not just us sitting here, you know, talking to you out there. It's the person who made this microphone. Not only the person who made the microphone, but the person who kept the shop clean so that person could make the microphone. It's the person who built the building so they could. All those people were important with all those different skill sets.
The
guy running the board. If he
Like
wasn't
John.
there, if John wasn't there, you wouldn't be seeing this. John's going to edit this. John's going to post. So all those people's jobs are important. Nobody is. I'm not more important than any of them. I have a different skill set, and my skill set is part of that team to make things better. And what does it say in the Bible? Many hands make light work, right? You need to cultivate that and do that and give people the opportunity to do those kinds of things. But we need to get back and putting things, circling back around, you know, we need to get back and putting things in the hands of our youth so that they have these opportunities and they do these things. And right now it's, you know, it's a beatbox on their phone that they push the button and they're playing EDM music, and now they're all, you know, DJs.
Yeah, it's the whole narcissistic culture. It just kills me. So we don't have a lot of time left, but I'd like to use the word circle around. Let's do that. You're obviously very invested in live shows. It's a big part of your life. I want to know how it started, right? Because if we know how it starts for me, you, Heidi, that is the first thing we can do to help other people to start it for somebody else. So where did it start for you? I can tell you mine, but nobody cares about me. Let's go.
Okay. So for me, it was my parents. It was my mom always playing music, always playing records at home, singing along. She was huge into Rodgers and Hammerstein's musicals. So Oklahoma, Brigadoon, you know, all those things were there. And then the great movies, you know, It's a Wonderful Life.
Of course.
So watch all those things. And then in junior high school, my mom was very involved in my school. So again, the parents being involved, being around, and they had a choir starting up. And my mom goes, "Sure, Steve will be in the choir." And I'm like, "I will?" "Sure you will." So I got into choir in junior high school and learned music, started singing, started picking up piano and drums. And then they had a musical. The first time they're going to have a musical. And I got cast as the lead role as Charlie Brown, which I was super, super excited. I'm like, first musical, I got the lead role. I'm like all excited. And it was because of my mom. I'm sure I got cast the lead role knowing that my mom would work on it and they knew they'd have a good parent to help support it. But one of the other things that my mom did for me when I was growing up was at the Park District, they had tap and ballet lessons. So I took 5 years of tap and ballet lessons.
All right.
Well, the ballet was fun, and it helped me when I played football. When I played football and baseball, because I had a great sense of balance.
Yeah.
The
excellent.
balance that it gave me, everybody's like, "Can't knock this kid over." That's crazy. So I get the part as Charlie Brown. They find out I can tap dance, and they go, "But in the musical, Linus dances with his blanket. You're going to do the tap dance with Linus and his blanket." So I did that. From there, got into high school. Went to a high school.
Go back one second.
Okay.
Hey, when you were Linus,
Yes.
did you have speaking lines or
Oh
singing?
yeah, speaking and singing.
Give me a line.
Okay.
You still remember it?
So I did
How many years ago is this?
70, 75, 76.
Okay, so it was a long time ago.
So back, and people still freak out that I know this, but
What's your first line?
in examining such a book as Peter Rabbit, it is important that the superficial characteristics of its deceptively simple plot should not be allowed to blind the reader to the more substantial fabrics of its deeper motivations. In this report, I plan to, and then that goes into a song,
That's
a
impressive.
book report on Peter Rabbit.
So I had the lead in Macbeth. I was forced to
Okay.
do that. Thou canst not say I did it. Don't shake thy gory locks at me.
Right? No.
I still remember that.
But it's part of what we were exposed to as youth, and that's why we still love this going forward. You know, going through high school, I got picked to be, there was like 4,000 students in my school. I got picked to be one of the top 4 tenors, singing voices. So they put together
Excellent.
16 kids, and we toured around doing singing. From there, I went into some plays, got a radio show. Life happened, decided to get married, stopped entertainment, circled back around, boom, back in entertainment. Because I see it's not there and it's fun and I enjoy it.
What's your first big concert you went to?
My first big concert I went to was Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Wow, excellent.
So, and I just saw Carl Palmer here last month. Keith Emerson, Greg Lake, both have passed away, I think in 2013. But Carl Palmer is still touring. Carl Palmer's legacy, still plays all Emerson, Lake and Palmer music, and it's a great concert if you get a chance to see it.
The first real show I went with my father, and he took me to go see Todd Rundgren. I was probably like 10 or 11. I didn't even know his music. The Hello, It's Me was good. So I just remember sitting there going, what's going on here? And I thought, these people are so nice. They share their cigarettes here. That's the only thing I thought of. It's like, Dad, you're so nice with these people. What's going on?
Great.
Anyway, thanks for being here.
Oh, yes, thank you very much for
I had a good time. The hour
me.
went by very fast.
Yes, thank you.
And tell everybody real quick your shows. Where can they see you?
Okay, so the easiest way to get a hold of me is to go to whathappened.world. It's .world, not .com, .net. It's whathappened.world. From there, you can link to all the YouTube shows, the podcasts. You can find out about the radio show, get to my social media on Facebook, get to my Twitter account, get to my Instagram account. It's just the easiest way to do it. So if you go find me on whathappened.world, you can connect up with me and find all of my stuff. But thank you guys very, very much. I really appreciate it.
It was fun.
Thank you.
So this has been the Rise Above Show. I am Joe Perroni.
Heidi Mancini.
And
I'm Steve Allen.